Picture yourself in America in 1960, walking into a Pontiac dealership and seeing nothing but massive cars nearly 19 feet long, heavy and thirsty for fuel. A compact car? Forget it. Then Chevrolet drops the Corvair, rear engine, air-cooled, a shock to the market and to General Motors itself. Pontiac, known for playing it safe, could have built a conventional small car and called it a day, but they didn't. Instead, they created something so unusual that both engineers and customers would furrow their brows just looking at the blueprints. This was the 1961 Pontiac Tempest, packing a massive half V8 engine, a slender curved driveshaft like a tensioned steel cable, and a rear-mounted transaxle. A compact car that broke every rule and became one of the strangest automotive inventions in American history. Pontiac entered 1961 with a challenging mission: to create the brand's first compact car, yet make it different enough not to be seen as just a copy of Chevrolet's Corvair. The market at the time was split in two: traditional buyers still loyal to full-size cars, and a new generation looking for something smaller, more efficient, yet still powerful. Pontiac didn't want to simply follow the trend. They wanted a car with a distinct personality. The engineering team chose a path almost unheard of in American automobiles, combining ideas few had dared to try. This was more than a technical decision. It was a direct challenge to the safety of conventional design. Every element, from drivetrain layout to engine choice, was aimed at delivering a driving experience completely different from any other compact on the market at the time. At the heart of the Pontiac Tempest was the Trophy 4 engine, an idea that was both bold and practical. Instead of designing something entirely new, Pontiac took half of its famous 389 cubic inch V8 and created a four-cylinder powerhouse with a displacement of 194.5 cubic inches. With a bore of 4.06 inches and a stroke of 3.75 inches, the Trophy 4 became one of the largest four-cylinder engines ever fitted to a General Motors production car. Buyers could choose between two configurations: a one-barrel carburetor version with an 8.6:1 compression ratio, producing 130 horsepower at 4,100 revolutions per minute, or a rare for a four-cylinder four-barrel carburetor version with a 10.25:1 compression ratio, delivering 160 horsepower at 4,800 revolutions per minute. Those figures outpaced most American six-cylinder engines of the era, even those with larger displacements. One unexpected benefit of cutting a V8 in half was the empty space alongside the engine, where the other cylinder bank used to be, allowing accessories like the generator to be mounted neatly and serviced easily. But this advantage went beyond maintenance convenience. It also created a more open engine bay layout, improving cooling capacity and reducing the cramped feel common in small cars. When the 194.5 cubic inch Trophy 4 came to life, its displacement delivered impressive acceleration. The automatic transmission version could go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 12 seconds, while the manual transmission variant felt even more responsive. Strong mid-range torque made highway passing and hill climbs effortless without constant downshifting. Although the inherent vibration of a large displacement four-cylinder was still present, Pontiac's engineering solutions kept cruising comfort higher than one might expect. With its lighter overall weight and nearly balanced weight distribution, the Tempest not only performed well on the highway, but also delivered stability and control through corners. This was no accident, but the result of unconventional engineering thinking from two remarkable individuals, John DeLorean and Bill Collins. In the early 1960s, DeLorean was emerging as an engineer who could spot paths few others imagined, while Collins was the one who could turn those ideas into concrete technical solutions. When they joined forces on the Tempest project, their goal went beyond simply reducing the inherent vibration of the Trophy 4 engine. They aimed to create a drivetrain unlike anything seen before in an American car. They implemented precision balancing of the crankshaft, selected pistons of uniform mass, and designed engine mounts that allowed the entire power plant to wobble in order to isolate vibration from the body. This willing-to-try mindset paved the way for the strangest power delivery system Pontiac ever used, a rear-mounted transaxle layout. Unlike the traditional setup, where the transmission sits directly behind the engine, the Tempest relocated the entire transmission and differential assembly to the rear, mounting it directly to the drive axle. It was the first time a mass-produced American passenger car featured such a configuration, marking a turning point in weight distribution and chassis design. In the automatic version, the system used a 2-speed gearbox paired with a 3-element torque converter, and notably, it was air-cooled, unlike most transmissions of the time that relied on a circulating fluid cooler. This arrangement offered multiple benefits: near-ideal weight distribution between the front and rear axles, improved traction, and a lower transmission tunnel height that resulted in a flatter, more spacious cabin floor. More than just a bold engineering choice, the rear transaxle paved the way for an entirely different driveshaft design. Positioning the drivetrain at the rear allowed Pontiac to use a slender, curved driveshaft operating on a principle entirely different from conventional designs. Instead of a straight, heavy shaft, subjected to high torsional loads like in traditional rear-wheel drive cars, the Tempest employed a forged alloy steel shaft measuring just 0.625 inches in diameter for the automatic version and 0.75 inches for the manual. By transmitting torque directly from the engine to the rear transaxle, before any multiplication by the torque converter or gearbox, the shaft could be made smaller and lighter. Its bowed shape provided two clear benefits: lowering the transmission tunnel to give the car an almost flat and roomier floor, and acting as a built-in damper to smooth vibrations from the Trophy 4 engine before reaching the rear wheels. The shaft was supported by two ball bearings encased in rubber mounts, sealed and lubricated for life, and underwent heat treatment and shot peening for fatigue resistance. The pairing of a rear-mounted transaxle with this slender curved shaft not only showcased Pontiac's bold creativity, but also resulted in a drivetrain layout with no prior precedent in American cars. While the Trophy 4 was the heart of the Tempest, Pontiac also offered an alternative for customers who wanted a smoother engine: the 215 cubic inch V8 developed by Buick. This was a full aluminum alloy engine, a rare technology in the early 1960s that significantly reduced weight compared to the cast-iron Trophy 4. Producing about 150 horsepower, it wasn't as powerful as the Trophy 4 with the 4-barrel carburetor, but it delivered much smoother operation and reduced the inherent vibration of a large displacement 4-cylinder. In addition to the Buick V8, certain markets also received an Oldsmobile F85 V8 version with similar specifications, also built on the aluminum alloy platform. These options made the Tempest more versatile in appealing to different buyer preferences, from those seeking the raw punch of the Trophy 4 to those valuing refinement and smoothness. But how did it perform in the long run? Once the Tempest was on the road, the answer became clearer through owner experiences. The Trophy 4 proved durable in structure, capable of handling long-term use when properly cared for. Many examples kept running smoothly after extensive mileage, though the vibration, inherent in a large four-cylinder, never truly disappeared. The optional aluminum V8 from Buick offered smoother and lighter operation but required diligent cooling system maintenance. Neglecting this often led to corrosion or gasket issues. The unique drivetrain, combining the rear transaxle and rope curved shaft, was generally reliable. The slender steel shaft rarely suffered major failures. Wear typically appeared in the rubber-mounted bearings over time. The most notable weak point was the air-cooled automatic transmission, prone to overheating under heavy loads in hot conditions. When the Tempest debuted, customer and media reactions were mixed. Many were intrigued by the idea of a different kind of compact, a small car that was powerful and packed with engineering solutions never before seen in American cars. They appreciated the Trophy 4's acceleration, the flat floor spaciousness, and the balanced handling thanks to the rear-mounted transaxle. However, not everyone was ready to embrace these bold changes. Some buyers were wary of the unfamiliar drivetrain layout, concerned about maintenance costs and the availability of mechanics familiar with the new technology. The Trophy 4's vibration and the tendency of the automatic transmission to overheat in harsh conditions were also commonly cited drawbacks. In the market, the Tempest drew attention and helped Pontiac stand out in the compact segment, but its uniqueness sometimes worked against it. For those who valued novelty and individuality, the Tempest was a compelling choice. But for buyers seeking familiarity and ease of maintenance, this was a gamble they didn't want to take. When placed alongside its contemporaries, the Tempest's differences became even more apparent. The Ford Falcon and Chrysler Valiant used a traditional front-engine rear-wheel drive layout with the transmission right behind the engine, a simple, easily serviced, and proven approach. Chevrolet's Corvair, while also unconventional, went the rear-engine, air-cooled route, offering a distinct driving experience. The Tempest sat between these extremes, unique with its rear-mounted transaxle and curved rope drive shaft, delivering a flat floor and balanced weight distribution, but requiring more specialized maintenance. In performance terms, it could match or even outperform some rivals, but its vibration and complexity made some buyers hesitant. Compared to the Falcon or Valiant, the Tempest was more experimental. Compared to the Corvair, it was more practical, but less radical. Although the Tempest drew attention with its bold engineering, the rear transaxle and rope curved drive shaft soon revealed barriers that were hard to overcome in the early 1960s market. First was production cost. Manufacturing and assembling this special drivetrain required more steps, specialized components, and higher skilled labor. Meanwhile, rivals with conventional layouts could leverage existing production lines and parts, keeping prices lower and profits higher. Second, the complex maintenance requirements discouraged many mainstream buyers. Not every garage had the experience or the specialized tools to handle issues related to the rear transaxle or curved driveshaft bearings. This meant higher repair costs and longer wait times. Finally, Pontiac's product strategy shifted. By the mid-1960s, market trends favored simpler, easier to maintain, and lower-cost solutions. GM also sought to standardize engineering platforms across its brands to save costs. As a result, in the following generation, the Tempest moved to a traditional front-engine, rear-wheel drive layout, abandoning the unique structure that had once made it stand out. Today, This model has gone beyond the boundaries of a mere means of transportation to become a symbol of an era of creativity and experimentation in the American automotive industry. Its value in the collector market lies not only in its rarity, but also in the historical story behind a bold design that once sparked controversy. Surviving examples are often carefully preserved, and every appearance at classic car shows draws special attention. For collectors, it is proof of the spirit of daring to be different, regardless of commercial risk. Many are willing to pay a high price for an original example, knowing that it is a precious piece of heritage, reflecting a time when American automakers were unafraid to break conventions. Beyond its material value, this model remains a source of inspiration for modern designers and engineers, reminding them that true breakthroughs sometimes come from taking risks and stepping outside the comfort zone. In this way, it continues to live on in the memories of car enthusiasts as a special chapter in the history of American automobiles. When looking back at the history of American automobiles in the early 1960s, it's hard to overlook the Pontiac Tempest. Not only was it Pontiac's first compact, but it also stood as a testament to GM's creativity and willingness to break conventions. The three elements that earned it its odd reputation: the Trophy 4 engine, derived from half of a 389 V8, the daring, slender, curved driveshaft, and the rare rear-mounted transaxle on an American car, still spark conversations among car enthusiasts to this day. These innovations made the Tempest both unique and a costly lesson in technical experimentation in a fiercely competitive market. What do you think about the Tempest design and technology? Leave a comment to share your opinion. Hit like if you enjoy rare car stories. Share this video with friends so they can explore it too. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our next videos.